I'm about to change my car and it's proving to be a nightmare decision, far more difficult than I first thought, especially as I get closer to decision time. Should it be fully electric? Should it be hybrid or just an old-fashioned combustion engine? The interesting thing is, I'm not the only one getting cold feet moving fully electric. A recent S&P survey stated that in 2021, 86% of US car buyers were considering a move to EV. That figure now has fallen to 67% in 2023. Baylee, you're in the hot seat today. So EV growth is slowing. Why?
You're completely right, Peter. We're definitely seeing a slowdown in growth. It's now actually taking twice the amount of time to sell an electric vehicle as it did around a year ago. And I think much of the slowing in sales is due to the consumer anxiety around battery range and then also the charging infrastructure. It might not be sufficient to account for the initial growth that we've seen in electric vehicles. And I think another reason that we saw strong early adoption could be attributed to energy costs, because oil went through a period where it was $130 a barrel and filling your tank was costing over £100. I think that this pushed demand back in 2021, 2022 time, but it's not so much of an issue now.
Okay, so I definitely concur with everything you've mentioned so far. That's where my anxiety lies. EVs were also generally 30% more expensive than standard combustion engine cars, but this has reduced quite a bit. So surely a positive for consumers, and that would drive demand.
Yeah, absolutely. If we take Tesla, for instance, until 3 months ago, it was the largest electric vehicle seller globally. It reduced the cost of its new cars by around 25% over the course of 2023, which had certainly been a positive, but that has created another problem.
I know what this problem is.
By cutting prices of new electric vehicle cars, and we're seeing this across the board from the major car companies, these large price drops for new electric vehicles has had a direct knock-on impact on the price of used electric vehicles. Good example is Tesla again. So at the height of the EV boom in 2022, the average price of a used Tesla was $68,000. It's now $33,000. So we're talking a 50% price drop there. And then that causes concern over the resale value when people want a new car in future years. And then there's also the issue of battery capacity that deteriorates with age. So it's perceived that the lifespan of an EV is shorter than that of a standard combustion engine car. Then other reasons that we've seen a fall off in demand could be high interest rates and also the improved supply of electric vehicles as supply chains have improved after the pandemic.
Okay, so I feel at this stage we need to add some balance to this argument. There are still, even taking into consideration what you've mentioned above, some really good reasons to go electric. You know, there's an environmental reason, obviously, lower ongoing costs, lower servicing costs, and like I literally have not met anyone that would move back to a combustion engine car once they've driven an electric vehicle. So my last question to all of this is, you know, what we've spoken about, how has it actually impacted on the share price of the likes of Tesla, which has been part of that magnificent seven?
It hasn't been going too well. Tesla lost its place as the largest seller of EVs in Q4 of last year, so 2023, to BYD, which is the Chinese EV car maker. And if we look at its share price year to date, it's down 27%. And that's versus the S&P 500, which is up about 7%. And other car companies that aren't fully reliant on electric are actually performing quite well year to date. So Volkswagen, Ford, etc. I think that the electric vehicle market is undergoing a period of adjustment. Sales are slowing down, but they are still growing. And also, don't forget that our own governments are pushing for 100% of EV sales by early to mid 2030s.
Okay, Baylee, thanks so much for this. All of this is so interesting. And we didn't even touch on the possible use of hydrogen in the future, which is also in the back of my mind. Maybe we'll do that another time, I think. Has
this helped you, though, to make your decision?
No, to be honest, it's just still there's still so much going on. Bailey, look, time is up. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll be back again next week with another topic that's caught our eye.